All right, so here we are on the Foodable Smart Kitchen and Bar, and today we are getting to introduce our bar set and our master mixologist, Oscar. This is going to be fun today.
I know it is. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it and looking forward to it. Get to use all the new stuff in the bars.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't wait. So Embajador is the tequila that we're talking about today. We're doing a tequila series. We're going to break down some cocktails and some sipping processes. I get to hear a little bit about what you're going to do today, but for the audience, let's kind of step up a little bit about what the first cocktail is going to be. What are you thinking about?
So, you know, Embajador Tequila has a very nice product, so I decided to match what their product is with some really creative stuff. So we're going to work with today our first cocktail. We're going to use actually their Platinum, which is their Blanco Tequila, making a cocktail called Off the Beaten Path, which is kind of taking a little bit back to the basics, kind of a little bit more savory, but also we're going to have some of the citrus flavors in there and making it kind of like in a sour.
So the process when you're building a drink around you know, a specific spirit, what are some of the things you're looking for, like in this Platinum Tequila?
Well, one of the things that I look at when I'm looking at a spirit in particular is what is the value of the product for me and my guests, my client, and you know the operators. And mainly, you know, you want to look at price point, but at the same time, what is this going to set me apart from what everybody else is using around me, my competition, and how can I also use it to create my own path for things to make.
Right. Okay.
And that's why like this drink came out about. It was kind of like, hey, off the beaten path, kind of like, let me make something that's gonna be completely different, but at the same time focusing on what the purpose of the drink is, which is kind of keeping my guests happy, telling people the story behind the tequila, because otherwise, you know, we sit in a place where we have a whole bunch of product and they're all nice labels, but we don't really know anything that goes behind them.
Well, let's get started.
Absolutely. For this drink, I like to use the crushed ice batter, just because it's gonna add to that wow factor on the presentation of the drink, but we're gonna get to that first. We're gonna put first ingredients, which I'm gonna actually get started with about an ounce of our tequila.
This looks, based on what you're telling me on ingredients, to be a really clean
Yeah,
finish
well,
on the cocktail.
they really thrive on making 100% Blue Agave tequila, and you want to keep the essence of it. It's kind of like someone that goes to a bar and like, hey, can I have a Johnny Walker Blue on the rocks? It's like, you know, you're diluting the drink. It's like the same thing. Like, you know, they want to transfer this amazing material, and then we're mixing it with pre-made sour mixes and all these things that like really damages the essence of what you're trying to offer your clients. And now, you know, I made some fresh stuff for it. So we have some beet puree, which,
all right,
you know, it's a little, this drink's a little bit more process intense. They're not for like your average bar program. It's for someone that, you know, has the dedication, the passion, because it requires, you know, the correct part list to have the demand for the clientele. So the good thing about this puree is that, you know, once you make it, it's good to last you for about 4 to 5 days. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna just do, it's very strong, so what I'm gonna do just half an ounce.
Okay.
Okay, and then what's gonna tie this all together for this drink is actually the syrups. We make all our syrups in-house, you know. We like to like really play with the flavors, and I made it 2 ways because tequila comes from Mexico. Is the first thing that people think, oh, Mexican food is spicy, chiles. So I made 2 types of syrups to blend together, and the reason I split them is because not everyone likes the spice factor.
Right.
So I made a cilantro syrup, which people like, oh, cilantro, but you know, it's a good way to add that savory essence with the beet to blend it together with the tequila and get that kind of like rubber, silky texture to it. And then the jalapeno syrup, which, you know, I'm gonna add it to a regular proportion, but we're always able to take it out or put a little bit of, so someone is like, I don't like too much of the heat part, heating part of it. So our syrups, one thing that I like to bring up is like, we don't use just regular white sugar, you know.
Okay.
We like to take, you know, step further and like really try to like stake with products that are gonna help the composition of the drink. So we're using actually coconut sugar for this, so coconut palm sugar, which is outstanding. And we're gonna add to this just about half an ounce of this cilantro syrup. We don't want it to be overpowering for the drink. Okay. And I'm gonna do just like a spoonful of the jalapeno because it really adds a kick to it. And you just wanna have that little back layer in it. You don't wanna have anything else than more than that. And now people ask me, hey Oscar, where's the sour part? Like, why didn't you shake everything with sour? Something that I like to do, and I like the ingredients to kind of like float apart. So what I do is actually put the base of my sour in the bottom. Doesn't have any sugar, any additives.
Gotcha.
And then as I add the drink, it just kind of like breaks everything together.
Gotcha, okay.
And I try to always keep the ice as far back as possible, just because I don't like diluting the drinks down. Allows me to play a little bit better with them.
Good. All right, so we're going that. So that beet is really a concentrate in this.
Correct. So we have here our original product, and we're gonna finish it with our garnish. So here's the thing, it's all about presentation. So you throw this drink to someone, it still looks very decent right now, but it doesn't have that wow effect that we wanna get to someone to really enjoy it. So I like to take the two factors. Number one, add the citrus layer in it so people see like, hey, this is still gonna have some sort of citrus in it. So for that, I usually create my little lime wheels, and because we're in Florida, I like to try to use local items.
Right.
These are the key limes. So actually add like a nice look to it. And then I'm gonna roast a little bit to it. I usually would do this prior to having the drinks ready, so they're all set up. So what we do, I add a little bit more of that coconut palm sugar that we've been using. A little light layer of it. Most of the time, usually I will kind of like mix it already with a little chili. But right now, because we already have that spicy jalapeno syrup in there, we're gonna just kind of like let it be.
All right, so off the beaten path.
So we're gonna have our basics for the citrus that most people are familiar with tequila. We're gonna have our orange, lemon, lime to make the sour mix. We're not gonna have any sweetener into it, since we're gonna be incorporating a cilantro syrup and a jalapeno syrup to it. Now the beet, we do a beet reduction, which is very, very potent and strong, so that's why we keep it to a minimum to blending with the tequila. So now the tequila, the good thing about the tequila is that they're very forward about telling you how silky that texture is, but the silky needs to come together with that drink for people to enjoy it in that blanco level, which actually, you know, it gets bottled right after 40 days, so it doesn't have like a lot of time to rest. Most places, they bottle it right away. They actually, Embajador takes 40 days prior to bottling their first, their first platinum bottle.
So I think this would be one of those that definitely could be done, you know, in a bar menu, in a craft cocktail menu.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, I love it.
And all these ingredients is stuff that most people are using nowadays in the restaurants already.
Right.
People
so
having beet and goat cheese salads,
yeah.
lemons, lime. There's not one thing that they're like, I had to go and purchase to make this drink.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, so the next step, actually, we have right here our premium tequila from Embajador. So we're gonna actually make a sage sour. Right. So here we're gonna have some homemade, fresh, unsweetened pear puree that we made.
Okay.
We also have make a nice sage reduction, like a low down syrup with our coconut palm sugar.
Okay.
And then we're gonna actually make the sour, make it like a traditional sour using our eggs with a little lime and lemon. Pretty simple, back to the basic shaking as a martini.
Let's do it. So you're using about 2.5 ounces.
2.5 ounces, correct.
Okay.
And now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna use my puree, 1/2 ounce.
Very savory too, I would think.
Super savory, but it creates a layers of flavor, and you see just by adding that, just change the color as well.
Yep.
And that comes from the coconut palm, but you can like already smell that coming out.
All right, so we're gonna foam this up.
We're gonna foam this
sour.
out. And so now we have this, we're gonna add our ice to be able to shake it. We just want to make sure that it has the right consistency.
All right. I like that, how that came together in terms of the color.
Now, because of the aroma that sage is going to give you, and you're going to have like a
you
little
can really
bitter
pick
ending.
that up, even here.
I just like 1 drop of the orange bitters. But you want to like that orange bitters to kind of like take the back end of that, aroma. And then we have our drink right there.
So to me, when you look at this drink, you've got great constructs, a really nice caramelized look, perfect foam top, nice sage, which kind of ties it, but not too overpowering on the garnish.
Correct.
Simple, but yet
back to the basics. We're tying everything together, the product, the ingredients, the drink.
That's really good. All right, Oscar, so this is our third cocktail.
At the end of the day, you know, we gotta communicate with our guests. We gotta teach them, and that's what we want to do with Embajador. And then they look at this tequila and they see what is supreme, premium, and platinum. Like, what do I do? And that's the mentality that I had coming out with, like, well, you know, let's teach people about sipping tequilas. And it's different when you're trying to tell someone to sip and when you're just telling them to buy something without having the direct access to it. So I created something kind of like deconstructed drink where like the elements are actually not mixed together, but allows you to kind of like enjoy the common elements of it. One thing that about sipping tequilas is like kind of like wine is it's all about the temperature. It's created in one temperature, and the reason they suggested to drink it at that temperature is really because the way it breaks down in your palate. So they recommend this to be drank about 67, 69 degrees Fahrenheit. And the reason we came out with the name for the drink is the blackberry forest, is so we can set it up in a way that it looks appetizing for the guests. And the way I'll actually present this is actually to the tequila, but we're gonna do a little something. And the reason I call it the black forest is because I thought of like the way kind of like a blackberry forest would look like if we were like in miniature walking through the plate, you know? So I kind of like got a little playful with words and things.
I like it.
So I'm just gonna keep it simple. 2 blackberries, we cut them in half. But now is where it gets interesting. I actually use 2 different types of chocolates, and I kind of like infuse them. And I'm gonna use 2 types. One with high cocoa percentage, which is going to be over 72, and I infuse them with our ajillo and our chipotle pepper. So you're going to have layers of chocolate and pepper, and that's why I have them represented here. But then I also use the milk chocolate, which is going to be about 40–45% cocoa, but then I infuse it with turmeric and ginger and coconut.
So you're shaving the chocolate right over
Correct.
Okay.
Then now we're going to add just like a dash of the chocolate bitters.
So a little chocolate bitter on top.
You know,
with the dill, the chocolate, and the blackberry.
And now, you know, you should serve this with a tequila on the side. A little toothpicks, you know, if you want to regard it with your hand, but you can like, and now just like go and like, you know, take a bite, sip, and you know, 4 bites. By the time you're done with the tequila and kind of pair it nicely, you know.
I would eat that by itself.
It's a good mix. I like pushing the boundaries with things that people have access to, but they haven't thought about putting it together. I needed to be effective with my audience, and how do I get the audience to enjoy something that they're gonna create at the end some profit for the business while getting them an experience. And I feel this ties it all together for them.
Oscar, thank you so much. This one was a great topper. I love the fact that you've kind of deconstructed this, so cheers to you, my man.
Thank you, I appreciate it, Paul.